You've started writing. Oh, there are words on the page. Hallelujah. But somehow the document has become worse. There are paragraphs everywhere, ideas repeating themselves, points that felt important at the time, but now feel it's a bit random. And when you read it back, the main thought is usually, what am I actually trying to say with this? Because the internal commentary tends to sound something like this. That paragraph, well, it made sense, pretty much. Hang on, why have I said that again? What on earth was I trying to say here? Did I write this at 2 a.m. or during some kind of small medical emergency? This is the stage where a lot of good students get stuck. Not because they don't understand the topic, but because the writing has turned into one massive tangle. At this point, most people assume that the problem is clarity. They think, I just need to explain myself better. So they start editing sentences, rewriting the paragraphs, adding another reference or two here and there, changing one word 17 times in the hope that the 18th choice might restore meaning to the whole piece. And then they read it back again. That sounded cleverer when I wrote it. I literally cannot use words. But I suffered to produce that sentence, so emotionally it is staying. But the document doesn't get clearer, it just gets longer. Because the real problem usually isn't the writing itself, it's just that the work doesn't really know what it's trying to do. If this is you, you need to change tack. When writing feels messy, the instinct is to polish, because you think the writing must be bad. But polishing only works when the structure already makes sense. As they say, you can't polish a turd. If the thinking underneath is tangled, better sentences won't fix it, because the writing doesn't have a job yet. So let's give it one. Here's the question I come back to constantly. This paragraph is trying to finish that sentence. Explain, argue, compare, introduce. One verb, one job. Go through the document paragraph by paragraph and write that line next to each one. This paragraph is trying to. If you can't complete the sentence, the paragraph doesn't have a clear function. That's all. And if the internal reaction is, genuinely have no idea why this paragraph exists, that's not a disaster. That is useful information, because now you've found the actual problem. Not that you're incapable, not that you have mysteriously lost the power of language, just that the paragraph is doing too much or nothing in particular. Both classics. Say you have a paragraph that includes a bit of background, a theory, some analysis, another point that maybe belonged 2 pages earlier, and one sentence that exists purely because you liked the way it sounds. So deleting it, no, that's impossible. You read it back and you think, okay, fine, but what is the point of all this? That's the moment you need to stop editing and ask, this paragraph is trying to what? Introduce the topic, explain the theory, make an argument? If the answer is all 3, that's your problem. The paragraph doesn't need better wording, it needs a clearer job. Once each paragraph has a job, decisions get a heck of a lot easier. You can suddenly see what belongs, what's repetitive, what's drifting away from the question, and what only seemed important because you were really tired when you wrote it. And something slightly irritating usually then becomes obvious. A lot of the writing that you struggle to produce does not need to stay. Most clarity in academic work comes from removal, not addition, which is really annoying, right? Because addition feels way more productive. You want to show what you know constantly. So deleting it feels like failure, but it isn't. That's just editing. So if your writing feels messy, don't start by fixing the sentences. Start by asking, what is this paragraph trying to do? Once each part of the work has a clear job, the whole document becomes so much easier to shape, and you can stop staring at it thinking, I must have understood this at some point. If this kind of breakdown is useful and you got value from it, please go ahead, subscribe. I would love to know what you think. I make videos on writing, structure, and how to get unstuck without losing your mind. I'll see you on the next one.